Just a stone's throw away from Malta's capital city of Valletta, in the nearby town of Floriana, and hidden away in a secluded part of the Floriana fortifications, is Msida Bastion Historic Garden, also known as the Garden of Rest or Garden of Repose. Despite being in Floriana, it is still called Msida Bastion Historic Garden and is located on what was originally known as St. Philip's Bastion. Beginning in 1806, this part of the bastion was turned into a British cemetery and is one of the oldest Christian, non-Catholic cemeteries on the Maltese Islands. The British arrived in Malta in 1800, having liberated the islands from the French. To avoid a religious clash with the Catholic Church, the British set up cemeteries outside city walls, and St. Philip's Bastion was a perfect place for that purpose. It was in use for about 50 years until 1857. However, after this, the cemetery was neglected and even vandalized on several occasions. Worst of all, it suffered a direct hit during the Second World War that destroyed part of the bastion as well as more than 40 monuments. These actions, erosion of the stone and neglect of the cemetery, led Dinlart Helwa, Malta's National Trust, in 1988 to get the Government of Malta and the British High Commission on board to start a restoration programme and open it to the public. In the cemetery, the oldest grave dates back to 1806, and after its closure in 1857, only limited burials were permitted in existing family graves. It has been calculated that about 900 people are buried in this cemetery. Most of these were British servicemen and their families, along with admirals, governors, judges, etc. One also finds other nationalities such as Germans, Italians, Russians, Swiss, as well as one famous Maltese, Michael Anton Vasali, who is considered to be the father of the Maltese language for establishing it on the Maltese Islands alongside English and Italian. The Right Honourable John Hookham Frere, his wife Elizabeth and his sister Susan are buried here. He served as Under Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs in 1799. His tomb is a sarcophagus made of Italian marble. This grave, surrounded by an iron fence, belongs to Vice Admiral the Honourable Sir Henry Hotham, Royal Navy, who served during the Napoleonic Wars. He died in 1833. The Freemason Lodge of St. John and St. Paul erected a monument to its founder, Brother Waller Rodwell Wright, who was also President of His Majesty's High Court of Appeal in Malta. A simple grave commemorates Emily Leavis, a deaf and dumb lady who died at the age of 21. The cross on her tombstone is one of the few crosses in the cemetery. Private Charles McCorry, VC, is one of 3 Victoria Cross awardees that are buried in Malta. This neoclassical monument, reminiscent of a Roman Greek funerary monument, is the tomb of Charlotte Hope. The acanthus leaf symbolizes enduring life and immortality in Mediterranean countries, while the laurel wreath symbolizes victory over death. This tomb, with a Russian Orthodox cross, contains a Russian officer who died in 1830. One of the most interesting aspects of the cemetery is that the tombstones and monuments reflect neoclassical styles, replicating designs taken from Egyptian, Greek and Roman architecture. These include obelisks, pyramids, sarcophagi, pillars, plinths, columns, Greek allegories alongside Gothic tombstones. Such designs instill a sense of mystery and curiosity as to why such symbols were chosen to be depicted on these tombs. The location of the Bastion Cemetery overlooks Marsamashetto harbour. Walking along the Bastion walls, one can appreciate Manel Island and Fort Manuel, built in 1720. Next to the fort is the Lazaretto, built during the time of the Knights as a quarantine facility and hospital. A wide range of flowers and plants, exceeding 150 species, can be found in the garden. The tallest cypress trees are more than 200 years old, and the Maltese national tree, the Sandarak gum tree, is also present. A visit to the cemetery stimulates the visitor's imagination and curiosity, where you can travel back in time to the first half of the 19th century. A journey amongst some of the most important people who lived on the islands during that period. A myriad of symbols shrouded in mystery, a place of tranquility and relaxation. A place described by the National Geographic travel magazine as one of the 5 most beautiful cemeteries in Europe. A landmark not to be missed when you are visiting Malta. Welcome to Msida Bastion Historic Garden. You will not be disappointed.